Diys-by-dar. Now I've got a $5 thrift flip that I am going to heavily distress. This is part of a challenge hosted by Krystal from the Crafty Creech and myself. And this piece is going to be heavily distressed. So for $5, I got this pretty rickety, old, small cabinet that was extremely dirty. So it gets the outdoor hose treatment with the scrub. So once I got it scrubbed and got it all rinsed off, I went ahead and looked at this bottom. Bad news, really gross. All those pads need to come off. Then I looked at it and it is really coming apart, so I need to get my nailer out and tighten this whole piece up where it needs a little bit of help. Carefully, mind you, so I don't put a nail going through the side. Now I have some Rust-Oleum primer, and I did use this whole can, and I am just going to spray prime this on the inside and the outside and lightly on the back with what I had left. Next, Rust-Oleum chalked paint in coastal blue. I am going to get this inside painted up nicely with 2 heavy coats of this color and let that dry, and we'll get to the outside. The door, which fell off, I was able to go ahead and paint that with a nice heavy 2 coats to get that straightened out, and I am ready to cut a new bottom because it just couldn't go the way that it was. And I used the tape so this thinner Luan doesn't shred at the end when I cut it. Now I have it and I'm ready to attach it using my nail gun once again, being very careful so I don't have that nail come through the outside. And it is now attached, and I am ready to palette knife paint the outside. I have some Bentonite clay. I am going to mix it with that same coastal blue until I get a thicker, almost pudding-like consistency. And I like the clay because it's cheaper and it works just as well. And this paint with that clay in it really sticks. So with my palette knife, I will start all along the edges and where I feel like I want to go ahead and add this coloring, and I will get all the sides done excluding the back. Now once this is dry, I have some Dixie Belle in a green color, and I used it straight out of the jar. It was thick, not real runny. I didn't add anything to it, and I went ahead and put it over some of the blue areas on all 3 sides as well, painting with the palette knife. Now that's dry, and I'm going to use this Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Driftwood, and I am going to put a coat over the whole piece except the back and the inside, and I'm going to let that dry. It's been sunny out here, so it's been great. Now I have drop cloth and a chip brush and some water and a piece of paper towel. This is going to be a very watery paint that once I get this applied to the corners and the sides or wherever I think, I am going to add lots of water until I get it to the point where this is going to start running down the side. Then with my paper towel, or a rag actually works better, and this technique is called frottaging. I'm going to just simply tap off where I think I don't want so many runs, or add more water if the color seems a little bit too thick to me in some areas. and keep doing that until I get this outside the way that I want it to look. Now I'm letting this really dry out here in the Michigan sun, and I'm ready for the next step, which requires a scraper. And I am going to start scraping off all of my heavy chunks and wiggle and get some nice pieces off. I was just a little bit disappointed I didn't get as much green color coming through as I wanted to. It was a little more subtle, but it was there, and this is how the pieces look, and now I'm ready to stencil. I have some Made by Marley stencils here, and I will put their address in my description so you can check them out, and I only use 2 stencils. Now, I like swirly twirly, and you don't have to be that careful because this is a distressed piece. So these do not have to be perfect. Here is my second stencil. And once again, I'm using the blue and the same green colors. And I'm going to do swirly twirly. And this is what the second stencil is going to look like. And there she is. A little bit too perfect, but we'll take care of that here shortly. Once it is nice and dry, there is another step that I am going to do, and I am going to take a leftover surf prep that is fine, and I am going to lightly sand in some areas and over the top of these so they don't look so crisp and clean. And now, the last step, I have some brown paint, chalk paint, and some water and a little brush because I couldn't quite get into that tight corner, and I'm putting this in there. Then I am going to use my finger and kind of massage it in and give it that effect that it has a little bit of wear and some dirt on it. So it kind of looks like this. I needed to put a knob on here, so I had to drill a hole, of course. I had that one, and I thought, well, it looks all right, but it might be a little bit too big and too clean looking. And then I tried that one, but either one I decided to use, I had to dirt it up a little bit because it just didn't look cohesive. Now, Varathane triple thick polyurethane. I love this stuff. I'm using a sponge. One heavy coat on the inside. This is matte, so it's going to dry nicely. You're not going to see any imperfections in there. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the same all over the whole piece, except for the back at this point. And pretty soon I'm going to get photobombed here. There she is, my 14-and-a-half-year-old puppy. She's got to see what I'm doing and if I have anything to eat. Now, Made by Marley, I'm going to use a piece of their decoupage paper. And their link will be in my description. And I have some matte Mod Podge. And I'm going to go ahead and get this paste evenly thick all along and then set the sheet there, and I'm just going to tap down in the middle and work my way out. Now, this paper is from the Paper of the Month Club. They have a club where she will send you 6 sheets for the price of 3 every month, and that's quite a deal. And these are really some beautiful pieces here, and they're all kind of corresponding with 3 different designs and 6 pieces of paper. Now that I have that in, I will let that dry, and I need to cut it. I have a metal straight edge and a razor blade, and I am going to cut this right down there in that door crease. And when you tear it off, put that straight edge back in there, so when you rip it, it doesn't go ripping all the way up your piece of paper. You will get tabs in areas where maybe there was a lot of paste, which can be a problem. You just have to cut it off and try to slowly pick it loose. And sometimes you get a lot of paper debris. You can sand it off and try to paint over that edge again, but I just left it. So there it is. I need to let it dry before I go ahead and fix the corners, which you want to make sure this is tight all the way around. I had to go around all my corners and pull them away and add some more paste in there so I could stick them down all along the edge. I'm just checking to see how far it is, and I'm going to get some paste in there and then just smooth it all down nicely with my finger. Now I have some 120 grit, and I'm just going over some heavier areas. This can't be a perfect piece because it just is not going to be cohesive with the whole piece. Now I have some 320 grit, and I'm going to go over the whole piece itself and rough it up and give it some scuffing and some age so it fits in with the entire piece. Just cleaning it all off from the dust. So I am getting ready for another heavy coat of matte Mod Podge so I can seal this whole piece of paper so it can easily be cleaned off with a damp rag. And then I will put the triple thick around the outside edge of this piece, and then the outside and inside is pretty much completed. Once this is all dry, I'm going to go ahead and seal the bottom with just one coat of that triple thick, which that's why I like this. It says you only need one coat, and if you can put it on heavy like this, it works really great. I need to make just a little pilot hole for these ends that I'm putting on. I don't particularly like them. I'm putting a little bit of quick and thick in the hole, and then I am going to tap these in with a hammer. These have a tendency to turn. It's probably me because I can't hammer that great. I'll use a block of wood or something to help to get those all in. I only ended up wasting 2 of them before I got all 4 in, and it's ready to place on its bottom, and it's nice and level. Now remember this poor sad piece that I started with in the beginning for $5. This is what it looks like now. Let's enjoy, and at the end I have some AI staging for you to see how you can use this piece. I want to thank Krystal from the Crafty Creech for hosting this fun challenge. And if you get a chance, check out the Flippin' Bunch every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. EST on YouTube and Facebook. We talk all things flippin'. I want to thank you for watching, and please give me a sub and put the little bell on so you know when I put a new vid up. Catch you on the next one.